So Raw was decent, but I feel like it really failed to follow up on the hype of SummerSlam. I'm sure most of us expected a bigger episode. Still, seeing our boy in a world title match was pretty sweet. Crowd was mid, but I really popped for that interruption. That music, you know, L.A. Ooh yeah, I wanna see your ass. Always wondered, whose ass is he talking about? I know Raw after SummerSlam isn't technically a thing, but this felt like a very quickly booked episode of Raw, and while it was still pretty decent for a regular episode of Raw, admitted there's something very specific you wanted to see. Let's guess how many people said they're gonna stop watching WWE forever and still tuned into Monday Night Raw. I'm pretty sure it's like 95% of the people who complained, which again, it's fine to complain, but you're a hypocrite. Again, the highlight of the show was everything to do with LA Knight and Seth Rollins, and I'm actually very glad LA Knight is in the main event picture, because I really thought WWE said, well, Rollins is moving to other things, go back to the mid-card. So thankfully that was not the case. Now, we all knew LA Knight is not gonna win the championship, but man, I was running on faith. I was believing like I've never believed before. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. So the show kicks off with the new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Him and Moxie, CM Punk and Roman Reigns calling Reed the Tribal Chief and Braun Breaker the future big dog. Crowd chants for CM Punk, but Heyman praises Seth Rollins as the new top champion. Rollins says the fans turned their back on him, chanting for Punk and OTC. He wants everyone to never doubt him again. He reveals his title win was part of a secret plan B. There's always a plan B. Only his wife and Heyman knew. Y'all remember that moment when Seth Rollins broke your heart by turning on the Shield? He's still like, he has that knife in our chest and he's still like, you know? He's still doing that shit. He, Heyman, Breaker, and Reed are the Vision and no one can stop them, which I assume is the new name, The Vision. I like that. It works. You know what I don't like is the fact that we don't have a theme song. Like, the presentation in WWE is absolutely cooked. You know, one of the best things about Evolution, which is a faction they're compared to, is that when they come out together, there's a song, a very good one. And now when we don't have like Seth Rollins, they're coming out to either Bronson's theme song or Breaker's theme song. It doesn't work. There's lack of presentation. LA Knight interrupts. I love that, man. The crowd gave him a pop, but still, I wanted more because I shit my pants. That was great. He says Rollins faked his injury not to win the title, but to avoid a beating. Knight reminds Rollins he was the last man to pin him and promises he'll be the one to take the title. So what about a match tonight? But Seth Rollins says, "Do you guys want that?" And then says no. So we're not getting the match, but Adam Pearce, like I kept talking about, the size of Adam Pearce cojones balls, immeasurable. You can, wow, pumping. But tonight, I don't know what to tell you, dinosaur balls, people, because Adam did not give a flying shit. He comes out and says, the hell with the normal. And he announces Seth Rollins versus LA Knight for the World Heavyweight Championship tonight. And you know what? Breaker and Reed are banned from ringside, which doesn't mean shit. What are you gonna do, stop them? The paper security in the WWE? Like, obviously we all knew Seth Rollins is retaining the championship, but I still appreciate the fact that we're getting a World Championship match on Monday Night Raw, and LA Knight is still considered like he's a top guy, and what happened in the main event was pretty lovely. We see the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio is celebrating his victory, Finn Balor praises him, Dominic confronts the LWO, and Dragon Lee challenges him to a match. Dom accepts. AJ steps in, warns Dom he's still chasing the Intercontinental title, and your tricks are running out. Yeah, time's running out because you're getting old. Dominic is a piece of shit. I love that. I really love that. People, I effed up my sleep. My health is at an all-time low. I'm running on coffee, and I just almost threw up. But seriously, thank you very much for all the support, all the views, all that stuff, you know, all the likes, all the engagement, whatever you may call it. Just in general support. I'm back on YouTube. I had a blast with all the videos I just published. Quickly, before we continue, I didn't want to make a separate video. I feel like such a puss, but, I don't want you to think I'm lazy. That's not why I don't upload sometimes. A lot of times, it's not just me feeling like wrestling is boring. I'm just dealing with stuff. Yeah. I'm mentally very weak right now. I've been dealing with the pleasure, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes I have my bad days, sometimes I have my good days. People think we got Sheamus versus Rusev. They keep fighting every single week. It's always a tough battle. I don't think it's clicking to me as much as, you know, matches like Sheamus versus Drew or Sheamus versus Cesaro, but it's still pretty decent, you know? It's such a big rivalry. We got a double count out, then we see them fighting backstage throughout the show, and then we jump into something more important, which is Sami Zayn saying he's done with Karrion Kross. So are WWE done with Karrion Kross? Is that it? The rivalry seems to be over. Karrion Kross did not resign yet. You know, we don't know that at least. I'm pretty confused. You know what's crazy about this Karrion Kross thing is that during it's not even a press conference anymore, but what after SummerSlam, right? Triple H in front of a crowd, he's talking about Brock Lesnar. People are chanting, "We want Kross. You want Brock, you got him." We weren't talking about Brock. What the hell? And then he got hit by Sheamus, I believe, during the Sheamus versus Rusev brawl, which is pretty nice. You know, hopefully somehow, some way, the Intercontinental Championship is going to put into that mix. A lot of great talented dudes, hard-hitting, big meat, son bitches. Love that. New Day are still mourning and are not mentally prepared to compete. Grayson Waller approaches, tries to hype them up, and demands a tag team title shot on their behalf. So he confronts Pierce. And Pierce is like, nah, they gotta earn it, but gives Waller a match instead against Penta. Waller tells New Day, he'll think about it. The hell with the normal. You know, Adam Pearce, I believe he could beat the shit out of 90% of the roster. So we got Grayson Waller versus Penta, which I know it sounds weird, but I felt it kinda refreshing to see Grayson Waller in action. You know, I really like that, and I can't wait for that Austin Theory return, which is something I don't think I talked about, but yes, it's a very underwhelming way to split him up. Basically, Austin got injured, so he says, you know, I lost a lot of weight, dropped some weight, which is Austin Theory weight. Now he's with the New Day. So far, I'm loving it. I feel like it's going to end up being really good for Austin Theory, though. He comes back, you know, big pop, you know, we're friends. We're friends. They hugging. And then he's like, smack in the face. You know, I'm a good guy. So I enjoyed this match. Grayson Waller has a very unique style, very fun to watch in the ring, at least in my opinion. But of course, Penta won the match. Then the New Day fights with Penta, and Penta came out on top, even stole the hat. The hat is absolutely ridiculous. And so far, during this heel run, one of the best things New Day ever did. I want WWE to go all in with this Grayson Waller and New Day thing. I want more comedy. I think it would really work out. Then we got Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss celebrating, and we had some good material, obviously, playing off with this fact that we're not friends, and it was kind of funny, but the crowd did not react. It was very, like, the delivery wasn't there, unfortunately. But then we got Raquel and Roxanne, and of course, they want a tag team championship opportunity. Dinosaur Balls Pierce comes out and says, tonight isn't about normal. Let's have that tag team championship rematch. So we got the match, which was pretty fun. And of course, the championships got retained. Still not friends. And so far, Alexa did not call Charlotte the F word. What F word means? What does the... I know they're trying to say friend. Does it mean like F you? You know, that word. Or the other one that we don't use? But so far, I'm loving this thing. I think it's really good for the WWE Women's Tag Team division. Some really legitimate big stars holding these championships. And it's great. You know, love it. Bayley is walking backstage. Lara finds her and is furious with her. Valkyria says she can never challenge for the IC championship as long as Becky is champion. Valkyria says she needs to get out of this vortex. Neither of them is a champion. They've screwed it up for each other, and they need to stay away from each other. I still believe eventually it's going to be Bayley taking that championship, and then we got Bayley versus Valkyria. So we got Dominic versus Dragon Lee, which was a very fun match, and I kinda enjoyed it. You know, it was not a title match, but Dominic is in some quality shit. I appreciate that. Like I've said, the IC Championship is a workhorse title. I know Dominic is a heel, but you still can find ways to put him in matches and make him cheat as long as he's doing something. You know, he's participating in these matches. We got another El Grande, man. How many of these we got? This is Tyler Bate, I believe. So Dominic wins the match, but then he got attacked by AJ, who was clearly not done with Dominic Mysterio. So, since he's not done, the end goal, AJ winning the championship. I think we need to get that. You know, his career is about to end. Give him one more IC Championship title reign. By the way, some of you probably don't even remember, he was the Intercontinental Champion in the WWE during the pandemic. It was this AJ, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus type of thing. Remember that? Feels like a fever dream. Okay, so Becky comes out to the new theme song and declares Lyra Valkyria is done getting title shots. She welcomes new challengers, and we got Nikki Bella. She praises Lynch, but then says, you're such a disappointment. You're holding back the next generation. Lynch claps back, plugging Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. Bella calls Lynch a liar, just like her husband. Lynch fires back with, you can't see your husband anymore. Oh, that was a great line. Shots fired. Nikki and John used to be a thing. He proposed to her at WrestleMania. No relationship no more. Just kind of sad, but that happened. And shots fired by Becky right here. Bella challenges Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, and before answering, Lynch punches her in the face. Exactly what I said we need to get. Nikki in the world title matches. I don't care about it that much. I honestly don't. I don't see her winning anyway. What's the point? But Nikki being in mid-card championship matches, I think it kind of elevates the championship, making it look important. I just wish it was the United States Championship instead, because clearly the United States Championship needs it more. Finally, we got LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. Like I've said, we all knew what's gonna happen. It was just kind of fun to see how LA Knight is going to lose the match since the Bronze are banned. Well, that doesn't really matter. Seth Rollins was about to end his career, and CM Punk saved him, but meaning he caused him the match too. So obviously LA Knight was not happy with that. He pushed Punk, while Punk was kind of trying to explain you were about to get your ass whooped. So we got this big ass fight. In the end, Division came out on top. It seems like the show is over. We got the credits, you know, leafeting par l'Evesquois, and then Roman's music hits. So Roman Reigns comes out. The fight continues, but in the end, he couldn't get the job done. We got the security, we got Adam, and Division are closing this episode of Raw. Oh, and Bronson stole the shoes again, which is so unserious. Who cares? It's shoes. With every minute I talk, Roman Reigns can buy a new pair of shoes. So, it's not that big of a deal. You know? Yeah, but that was your Monday Night Raw. Like I've said, a decent episode that didn't really follow up on the hype of SummerSlam, which is really, really unfortunate. You know, the thing is, even if you don't like that, Brock is back. Can't change that now. Might as well give us some answers. What the hell is going on? Make him cut a promo. Hee-haw! Cows! You know, some shit. I don't care. But people, thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe if you already didn't. And as always, your boy, The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.